Hello, thanks for joining us. My name is Nancy Mahaffey. Today I bring to you a crash course about the June 22nd, 2019 attempted coup in Amhara region. First, I want to give you a backstory. In 1991, the TPLF-led rebels, TPLF stands for Tigray People Liberation Front, won a war against the communist Derg and won, and they came to Addis Ababa, 1991. And soon after that, there was a transition party, the transition time that was put in, mostly the ethno-nationalist and the made-up parties that were put together participate in it. And it automatically or systematically was put to isolate the Amhara. And the very few Amharas they were in were not able to voice their opinion, or whoever voiced their opinions did not get involved. So the constitution and this ethnic federalism, all this thing happened with isolating the Amhara. Let's start there. Now, the TPLF made a coalition party, EPRDF. EPRDF has four major parties in it. The dominant one, which is Tigray Liberation Front, TPLF, and then there's OLF, the OLF left, but they have the Oromo Party, the OPDO, what we call it now, the Oromo People Democratic Party, and then the Amhara, which was not Amhara, it was the actually a wing of the rebels that was a mix of people from different tribes and ethnicities, and they were put together to be the Amhara voice. So the Amhara was led by a party that didn't belong to Amhara, or that wasn't Amhara for 20-something years. So that's where it started. Now, for 21 years, the TPLF's head guy, or the head of this ethnic federalism monster, was Mr. Meles Zenawi. Meles Zenawi died after 21 years. Sometimes he was prime minister, and sometimes he was president. And when he died, the person who became prime minister next was Mr. Desalegn Hailemariam. Mr. Desalegn Hailemariam was from the South Party, and basically they were really the puppets. They were doing the TPLF's bidding. So when the unrest start building up in Ethiopia, I mean, the diaspora has contributed. Everyone from every corner has contributed, but the top leaders of this revolt, I would say, this unrest, was the Amhara youth and the Oromo youth that came forward, and they said that, that they fought together, and it kind of forced the Prime Minister Desalegn Hailemariam to resign. And one thing that he contributed, really, that he should be thanked for, is that he gave up power willingly. And that is after, so many got killed in the uprising. And now EPRDF was again into a position to elect a new leader to their position. And whoever becomes the leader of EPRDF, EPRDF somehow manages to win 100% of the parliament. Only in Ethiopia, one party can win 100%. So they become the prime minister. And that thing that the Amhara groups in the Oromo groups made a coalition, and the candidate from the Amhara Democratic Party was Mr. Demek Omokonen. He willingly took himself out of the election so the Amhara votes could go toward the Oromo, and Dr. Abiy was elected. So I believe the Amhara was hoping that alliance will continue, that both the Amhara and the Oromo could work together and bring Ethiopia forward. But that trust was betrayed not so long after Dr. Abiy came to power. Slowly he started consolidating his power, but the very first thing that we start witnessing is that like places like the Ethiopian Commercial Bank, like the revenue, and even the Addis Ababa mayor, everybody start becoming like more Oromos. Now suddenly the shift or the reform did not become like a reform of major infrastructure, the political infrastructure. It was not changing the deep-rooted change. It was more like changing the Tigray with the Oromos. So that created a discontentment within the Amharas. But even this reform has brought up good things to the Amhara. For the first time, homegrown Amhara party was able to establish the National Amhara Movement. They call it Abin or Nama in English. And they were able to start. And because they carried the Amhara's true questions, they came out from within the Amhara. In a short amount of time, they were able to have a very wide and broad support from the public. So that obviously put them in the target. And the second change that we saw was the ADP. Though they were part of the EPRDF, they were kind of setting themselves free under the domination of TPLF. So the more genuine, outspoken, the Amhara leaders were coming forward as well. And the one other good thing that came out of this was that the prison, thousands were in prison during the TPLF. Anyone that they deemed as a threat, they have put in jail in from their kangaroo court with their false witnesses. And thousands of people came out of prison. Among them were the top generals, like General Asamino Tsige and General Tefera Mamo and Colonel Alabel. And so many of them came out that they were able to help. And especially the General Asamino Tsige was able to reorganize and strengthen the Amhara Special Forces, train a new one, and that obviously brought up some unwanted attention, basically from each side. Now the Amhara was getting stronger in politics. The Amhara was getting stronger in militarily, and the moral and the spirit of the Amhara was growing, and that obviously did not settle well with the ethno-nationalist teams, which is understandable. TPLF didn't, wouldn't like it, obviously, and OLF, the Oromo Liberation Front, as well. But I think Dr. Abiy saw it as a threat too, because he voiced that his concern that the Amhara was organizing themselves in their ethnic identity. Well, everyone else was organizing themselves in ethnic identity for decades. And the Amhara actually was the one holding on to Ethiopianism, I could say, the Ethiopian nationalism saying, and they were massacred. They were strategically isolated, and they were left in poverty, and so they wouldn't go forward, so they would not be a threat. So that is... he is organized with, Oromos were organized with Oromo. He was from the Oromo party, but he voiced his concern that why the Amharas were organizing themselves with ethnicity. And that is kind of absurd, especially when he is voicing that the Constitution, the ethnic federalism Constitution, should not be changed. When the Amhara said, well, we weren't there, we didn't participate in, when this constitution is written, we would like it either changed or reformed. And his answer was, we're not going to do that just for the quest of one tribe, one ethnicity. We're talking about 25, 35 millions of people out there, and he's not willing to amend the constitution. And on that base, then the Amhara have to organize themselves in ethnicity because it is ethnic federalism. So that's the other perplexing signs and things that are coming out. So Dr. Abiy has betrayed the alliance early on. There is this everything is ours, what I call it Kenyasm, spirit coming. Everything is ours. Addis Ababa is the capital city is ours. The everything is ours thing coming up. So the Oromo start to think it is our time, we're gonna rule. And that was the thing. Now the Amhara has to strengthen themselves. They were getting stronger, they were organizing themselves. Now they're suddenly becoming a threat. And so it was a very dark day for the Amhara. June 22nd, 2019. Amhara lost top leaders, lost wonderful, brilliant sons of Amhara, sons of Ethiopia. So the Amhara needed to organize themselves as an ethnicity because their existence became in danger. Now, some ethnicities were given to them in some places. Here's your map, here's your flag, and this is, you can learn now in your language that was given to them. Amhara resisted as much as we could, but finally it became an existent issue. And the Amhara had to organize themselves in order to remain alive, to keep on going and exist. So it was out of necessity. And for the Amhara, being Ethiopian and Amhara it never conflict. It never conflict. For one Amhara, first he or she is a human being, then she's Ethiopian, then she is Amhara. So that's how it works. It's like an image of a coin. There's two images in a coin, and then being Amhara and being Ethiopian is the same thing for Amhara. It never confuses for us. It never clashes. And Amhara never had expected or never started their struggle like TPLF and OLF did, that they want to secede from Ethiopia. No, Amhara wants to continue one united, democratic, peaceful, and prosperous and just Ethiopia. That's what we wanted to see, and that's where the struggle come from. So to go back to my point, June 22nd, 3 of the top leaders, regional leaders, the president, the deputy president, and the attorney general were assassinated in Bahir Dar, and then 2 generals were assassinated in Addis Ababa, and it was a shock. But whoever planned this plot, they tried to take 2 birds out with 1 rock or 1 bullet, you could say in this case. What they tried to do is they killed the top official leaders, and they say whoever did it was also an Amhara top general. He is the favorite son of the Amhara, General Asamno Tsige. He worked so hard to organize the Amhara Special Forces, strengthen the Amhara in order to be able to defend the Amhara territories and lands and the people of Amhara. So, and this general was on the phone interview. Well, he was asked about a coup, and he said, "What coup?" But when this happened, it didn't take hours for the president to come and declare it was an attempted coup d'etat. And he also said that, he was on his military fatigue, issued a state of emergency, and then shut the internet for 3 days, and hundreds of special forces, especially those who were trained by General Asamno, lost their lives. It was a very dark, dark days for the Amhara. The Amhara lost several dear sons from that dirty political plot. Now, there are so many puzzling questions that are not answered. Both the ones who were killed in Bahir Dar and General Asamno, They all were working for one goal, for the Amhara. They have no problem to make them kill each other. That was one issue. The second thing that we have a problem with is Dr. Abiy didn't wait hours. I mean, the speed he went to declare it a coup d'etat. And the Amhara region is not where the power center it is. Power is in Addis Ababa. If there was a coup, it would be in Addis Ababa, not in Amhara region or in Bahir Dar. And the other things that we have is like the conflicting reports that are coming. The guy who they say the generals were having tea and then one of the guard killed them. They say he was also killed and then he was wounded and then finally we found out he was in hospital. Luckily now he is well and hopefully he will testify the truth. So what we know from the Amhara side is there was a dirty game, unfortunately, that cost us several dear lives. And it was a political loss for the Amhara. Someone didn't like that we were getting stronger politically, morally, economically, and they saw us as a threat, and they plotted a dirty game, and they tried to divide us within our groups, as well as they took out our top leaders, and we're still mourning their loss, but. Amhara is a resilient group of people, a resilient people. We have come, our history goes back thousands of years and we have overcome so many troubles and we will overcome this again. So just recently, last week, that a team led by Deputy Minister Demek Amokunen, the 5 Amhara parties got together and signed an agreement to work together. And the following day, there was a report that the Attorney General office is gonna bring out the report for June 22nd about the attempted coup d'etat. Well, the whole thing rose. I mean, everybody is weary about whatever reports that comes out. First of all, there was a killing of a top engineer for the Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, engineer Semenyo Bekele. He was assassinated in the daylight at the Maskal Square. And his investigation has not come out clear. And there was an attempt on Dr. Abiy's life when there was a rally going on for him a year before the coup d'etat. That report, when there was an attempt on him, he called the FBI, and that investigation still didn't come out clear. We're still in the fog. We really don't know what took place. And then there was a journalist, a diaspora journalist, that went to Ethiopia, and he died suddenly. It is believed that there might be a poison, but there was an investigation also going for that. That didn't come out. And there was massacre on the outskirts of Addis Ababa a year before this one. That didn't come out. And there was over 900,000, close to 1 million Gedio tribes that were displaced, and their situation was stifled, and they were limited from getting aids and humanitarian resources, and that investigation didn't come out. And all these things, and there's always crisis going out. He didn't give the details for all those, but he wants to come out with the Amhara. I do understand that you want to take the shift from Oromo, from what the massacre that had just happened, to Amhara, but I think the people has wisen up. Now we know it's a plot. It was a plot that was playing against our own guys. All sides that died, all of them are our sons, our brothers. They were our fathers. We will mourn their death. So if Dr. Abiy, you have nothing to hide, bring an independent party, investigate the so-called coup d'etat, and that report we will believe. But the day after we make a coalition to work together, you cannot bring out this report again to divide us. So you see us as a threat again. This shouldn't be. The Amhara is not a threat to nobody. The Amhara is the strength for Ethiopia. I think we should all be shouting for the Amhara cause. The Amhara has always been that catalyst, that glue that hold Ethiopia together. And I do believe that we can all come together and work to create one strong, united, fair, just, prosperous Ethiopia for all. And that, a person would not be judged, not because of his ethnicity or religion, but because he's a human being. That I do believe. So now you know about what happened, or what side of our story is for what June 22nd took. It was not a coup d'etat. It was a plot, a dirty political plot. Unfortunately, that we lost our best and brightest, and that we still mourn their loss. But the Amhara people are resilient, and I know we'll come stronger from this obstacles and this plots that are being put in front of us. So now you know, for the following videos, when I mention the June 22nd, 2019 coup d'etat, this is what I'm talking about. And the more you investigate, let me hear what you think about the whole situation. Again, if you are an international body, please do offer to go in and investigate. When there was an attempt on his life, he called for FBI. But when the top 6 officials got assassinated, he didn't request. That by itself, for me, says a lot. So I do hope that one day we will find out the truth. No matter how late, the truth will come out forward. Until then, we will keep shouting for justice, liberty, and equality. Among all, more than that, more than anything, we will shout for humanity. Thank you for watching. Again, I hope to see you in the next video. Until then, be well.